Have you ever stopped to wonder why you do the things you do, even when you can't fully explain them yourself? Why certain emotions hit you so strongly, or why your mind reacts in ways that seem almost automatic? Human behavior has been one of the greatest mysteries of all time. Scientists, psychologists, and philosophers have spent centuries trying to decode it, and yet we're only scratching the surface. The truth is, your brain and behavior are full of hidden patterns. And when you start to uncover them, you begin to understand not just yourself, but everyone around you on a much deeper level. In today's video, we've gathered 13 fascinating psychological facts about human behavior. Secrets of the mind that will completely change the way you look at yourself, your relationships, and even the people you meet every day. Some of these will surprise you, others will challenge you, and a few might even make you question everything you thought you knew about human nature. So stay with us until the very end, because fact number 13 might just blow your mind. Number 1, why early adulthood shapes us forever. Have you noticed how often older people tell stories from their 20s? Or why movies and books about coming of age resonate so deeply? This isn't random. It's called the reminiscence bump. Psychologists say our brains are wired to lock onto memories from adolescence and early adulthood because that period is charged with intensity, choices, and transformation. Think about it. Graduating, falling in love, getting married, having a child. These aren't just events, they're milestones that shape identity. That's why they stay sharp in our minds even decades later. Research shows memories from this era are more accessible because they're tied to who we believe we are. In many ways, your 20s become the foundation for your attitudes, beliefs, and life goals. The blueprint for the person you'll become. Number 2, thinking about your problems. From a third-person perspective helps you find better solutions. Have you ever noticed how it's easier to give good advice to others than to solve your own problems? Research shows this is true for most people, and it even has a name, Solomon's paradox. Psychologists discovered that people, regardless of age, tend to think more rationally and clearly when analyzing someone else's difficulties, compared to when they're dealing with their own. But here's the good news. You can train your mind to overcome this bias. The trick is self-distancing. When faced with a personal dilemma, take a step back. Imagine you're an outsider looking at your life, or even ask yourself, what advice would I give a close friend in this exact situation? This simple shift in perspective helps you detach from the emotional fog, making it easier to see the bigger picture and find effective solutions. Number 3, the illusion of competence. You've probably seen this play out before, maybe at a family dinner or in the office. Someone begins speaking with absolute confidence, dismissing everyone else as clueless, while their own lack of understanding is painfully clear to everyone in the room but them. This is a classic example of the Dunning-Kruger effect, a psychological trap where the least competent people often believe they're the smartest in the room. They don't just lack knowledge, they lack the self-awareness to even recognize it. That's why they speak with such boldness, blind to their own incompetence. Ironically, the more ignorant someone is, the more certain they tend to sound. It's a dangerous illusion of competence, and one that fools both themselves and sometimes those around them. Number 4, hostile people tend to own aggressive dogs. Studies reveal a fascinating pattern. Individuals who show higher levels of hostility, anger, and aggression are often the ones drawn to owning stereotypically violent dog breeds. Think of Rottweilers, Pit Bulls, or Dobermans. But why? Some experts suggest it's no coincidence. Just as we tend to choose friends or partners who mirror our values and habits, we may also gravitate toward pets that reflect our own temperament. A dog becomes, in a way, an extension of its owner. However, it's not always about personality alone. Social isolation, living in unsafe neighborhoods, or being under constant stress can also push people towards stronger, protective breeds. In these cases, the choice may reveal more than a preference. It can expose an inner world shaped by fear, tension, and the need for control. Number 5, daydreamers are more creative. Do you often catch yourself zoning out in class, at work, or even mid-conversation? While society often labels daydreaming as laziness or distraction, psychology tells a different story. Research shows that frequent mind wanderers tend to be more intelligent and creative. Their brains are actually more efficient, allowing them to process information faster and juggle multiple ideas at once. This efficiency means they can drift off during simple or repetitive tasks, yet snap back into focus without missing a beat. It's not carelessness, it's a sign of a mind working on a higher level, making connections others may overlook. So if you're guilty of drifting into your own world now and then, don't be too hard on yourself. Your imagination could be the very thing fueling your intelligence and creativity. Number 6, rejection literally hurts. Have you ever noticed how rejection doesn't just sting emotionally, but feels almost physical, like a punch to the stomach or a weight on your chest? Science shows there's a reason for that. When we're rejected, the same regions of the brain that process physical pain also light up. In other words, your mind interprets rejection as a wound, not just a disappointment. That's why even the smallest forms of rejection, being ignored, excluded, or brushed off, can feel so intense. The brain doesn't easily distinguish between social pain and physical pain. Both trigger that deep, aching sensation we carry long after the moment has passed. So the next time rejection feels heavier than it should, remember, it's not weakness. It's biology reminding you just how vital human connection truly is. Number 7, speaking in a foreign language changes your decisions. Have you ever noticed that your choices feel different when you're thinking in another language? You'd expect the opposite, that the struggle of using a foreign language would make decisions harder or less logical. But research shows it actually reduces bias. Why? Because when you speak a foreign language, you must suppress your native one. And the very act of suppression engages the same brain systems tied to rational thought. In other words, switching languages puts a filter between you and your automatic emotional instincts. Brain scans confirm this. The inhibition centers of the brain light up both when you resist your mother tongue and when you think logically. The result? You become less swayed by gut reactions and far more likely to make cool, calculated, and rational decisions. Number 8, we blame others but excuse ourselves. Have you ever been cut off in traffic and immediately thought, "What a jerk"? Now imagine a few minutes later, you accidentally cut someone off. Do you call yourself a jerk too? Probably not. You likely say, "I was in a rush," or "it just happened once." This is a psychological trap called the fundamental attribution error. It means we tend to explain other people's bad behavior as a reflection of their character. But when it's us, we blame the situation. In other words, when others mess up, it's because they're careless, rude, or selfish. But when we do the same thing, we give ourselves a free pass. It's human nature to protect our own self-image. But it also blinds us from seeing how often we judge others far more harshly than we judge ourselves. Number 9, we think others are more persuadable than us. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to point out when ads work on other people, but not on yourself? This is called the third-person effect. We assume persuasion is something others fall for while we're immune. But here's the twist. That's exactly what makes it so effective. The truth is, media messages, ads, headlines, subtle marketing cues don't always hit us directly. Instead, they slip into the background, shaping our moods, desires, and even attitudes without us realizing it. And the denial only makes it worse, especially when it's about something we think we don't care about. That's the power of influence. It works best when you don't believe it's working on you. Number 10, dopamine makes you addicted to seeking information. Ever catch yourself scrolling on social media for way too long? That's dopamine at work. Most people know it as the pleasure chemical tied to food, sex, or other enjoyable activities. But dopamine also fuels curiosity, making us crave new information. Each new post or update gives your brain a tiny reward, triggering the dopamine-seeking loop. The problem is, dopamine doesn't make you satisfied. It makes you chase more. That's why you keep scrolling, always looking for the next interesting thing, never feeling quite full. It's not that the content is endless, it's that your brain keeps demanding more. Unless something interrupts you, you'll stay stuck in that loop, chasing hits of novelty. Number 11, Helping others helps you live longer. Volunteering your time, money, or energy doesn't just benefit others, it benefits you too. Studies show that giving back boosts happiness, health, and overall well-being. Regular volunteering lowers stress, strengthens the immune system, and increases life satisfaction. One reason may be that helping others reduces loneliness and builds stronger social connections. Psychologists even found that people who volunteer regularly tend to live longer than those who don't. While these findings are fascinating, remember that many come from studies on small groups. Still, they highlight how much good both we and the world gain from simple acts of giving. Number 12, the spotlight effect. You think everyone notices you. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like all eyes were on you? This is called the spotlight effect. In reality, people are often too focused on their own lives to notice every little detail about you. Yet your brain exaggerates your importance in social settings, making you believe others are paying more attention than they really are. This can fuel anxiety, overthinking, and even self-conscious behavior. But here's the hidden truth. Understanding the spotlight effect is freeing. Once you realize people don't analyze your flaws as much as you think, you can live with more confidence, authenticity, and ease. Ironically, when you stop worrying about how you're perceived, you actually become more attractive and charismatic. The less you force it, the more natural your presence feels to others. Number 13, the paradox of choice. Too many options make you miserable. Modern life gives us endless choices: what to wear, what to eat, who to date, and even what to watch on Netflix. While choices give us freedom, psychology reveals a paradox. Too many options can make us less happy. When faced with endless possibilities, we overanalyze, compare, and second-guess every decision. Instead of satisfaction, we feel regret, anxiety, and fear of missing out. This mental trap drains energy and makes even small decisions exhausting. But here's the insight. True peace often comes from simplifying. When you limit your options, you reduce stress and gain clarity. Great minds in history, from Steve Jobs to Einstein, famously minimized daily choices, like wearing the same outfit, so they could focus on what truly mattered. Simplicity isn't about having less. It's about being free from decision fatigue and living with intention. If you found this video insightful, give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more. Thanks for watching.